Coming up in this video, I'm going to explain all about lead generators, including what a lead generator does, how to easily go and set one up, and lastly, how to go and manage and understand them. Firstly, what is a lead generator? Well, the old way of finding property deals was to go onto a portal like Rightmove or Zoopla, go and scroll through loads and loads of listings, trying to find things that met your criteria. But this was really time consuming and inefficient. On the other hand, Property Filter's lead generators go out and find properties that meet your criteria, and they bring them back to you in your leads inbox. All you need to do is set and forget your criteria and let Property Filter do the rest. Now you may think, well, I've got virtual assistants that go and do this sort of thing already. Think of each of your lead generators as a little virtual assistant going out and working for you 24/7, finding properties and dropping them into your leads inbox. Plus, with advanced features like artificial intelligence and pattern matching, the Property Filter lead generators are a lot quicker and a lot more accurate than a virtual assistant. Getting your lead generators working for you is super simple, and that's what I'm going to cover next in this video. Creating a new lead generator in Property Filter is really straightforward, so let me show you how to do that. Firstly, on the left hand side, go to your lead generators section, and you'll see here on the right hand side we've got add new lead generator. So I'm going to click on that one, and there are two parts that we need to do to this. We need to select what area are we looking in, and then what are we looking for in that specific area. So we've got our default postcode, which is here, so that's Liverpool, and we could then firstly just go and show more postcode boundaries, and we can just go and select the ones that are relevant to us. We can also go and zoom out, so just go and look at the various areas, show more postcode boundaries, and then just go and highlight which ones you want. You can also just go and type them in. So we've got L1, 2, and 3 here. So I could go maybe L5, go and type that in. It'll go and list it, and then we can just go and select that as well. So that's the first way. The second way is that we can actually go and select a postcode and then just go and spread out from that specific postcode. So you'll see here again, we've got L1, and then we could say maybe within 2 miles of that postcode. There we go. So it's gone select that area, and that could be where we're looking. The last thing that we can do is just go and draw where we want to look for properties. So let's go and select circle. This is very similar to last time. So select circle, click, and then you just go and drag out, and that can go and make whatever circle you want. We could also go and use a rectangle. So here, similar, click once, and then just go and drag, see how far you want to get, and then click again. Then that goes and creates an area. Or lastly, we could just go and draw out the area with lines. So the last one, click, and then go and drag, click, and click, and then you can go over whatever area you'd want, and then just make sure that you go back to the start, click lastly, and then that's the specific area. So there are different ways for you to go and narrow down where you're looking for properties. Once we've then selected that area, we then need to make a decision on the types of properties we're looking for in that area. So you can either click next or click on this header here, strategy filters. Property Filter has loads and loads of preset ways of finding properties in your lead generators, and these are a really great place to start. So you'll see we've got no template. I'll come back to that in a second. But if we go and just look at some of these different ones. So for example, we may want to look for 1 and 2 bed flat conversion. So if I click on that one, you can see that as I hover over it, it's actually telling us a summary of what that is. So it's looking for properties that are 50 meters squared and they're 1 bed flats. Or for example, we've got existing HMOs in Article 4. So this is 4 beds and above existing HMOs, and they're inside an HMO Article 4 area. We've then got cash buyers, for example, etc. So there are loads of pre-done templates, and I'd recommend that you start off with one of these templates and just see what it gets back. So let's go and pick one. Let's make one nice and straightforward. So let's go and have a look for HMO PD conversions. On let's select that one. We don't need to do anything else. Don't worry about the edit filters, etc. at the moment. We'll just click next. Let's give it a name. So this is LV, so that's just Liverpool, and this is HMO PD, for example. And then we just go and click save. And then we see what results come back. So it's just going and loading them, and we can see that here there's 21 available, 26 sold subject to contract, so that's not too bad. And you could then go and refine the search criteria here using the magnifying glass. So let's go back, and I'll show you how to create one of these now from scratch rather than using a template. So again, go to lead generators, we'll scroll down, add new lead generator, area. Let's just go and use a radius to make things straightforward. So we've got our postcode, and let's go and say within 5 miles. Great, there we go. And next. Now, this time round, rather than using one of these templates, I'm going to leave it on no template and show you how we can go and build one of these from scratch. So now I'm going to click on this button at the bottom, which is build your own custom strategy with selecting filters. And you'll see that we've got two sort of sections. We've got these filters, which are already available, and then we've got advanced filters as well. So let's just focus on these straightforward ones. And there are just a few things that we want to include as part of our filters. So let's only look for properties that are for sale. We may say we only want houses, more interested interested in bungalows or other stuff. Let's just say that we want to have a minimum of 3 bedrooms, maybe, again, this is for HMOs, and a minimum price of, let's say, £80,000. We can also go and look at the property tenure. Now, I mean, these are houses, but we probably don't want leasehold, so I can take those out. The property purchase, so let's ignore the retirement homes and listed buildings, all that more tricky stuff. Cool. And let's ignore auctions. Let's make sure it's going to be a straightforward purchase. So those are just a few very, very simple settings. We've plugged those all in. Let's go next and call this, again, Liverpool, and this is going to be HMO custom, for example. Press save. And then it goes and loads the property, see what we're going to get as our initial sort of approach to this lead generator. And I'd definitely recommend start straightforward and simple first, and then start to go and refine things later. Now you can see that we found a shed load of properties here, like 1900. So that's definitely something that we want to go and refine. So let me show you how to do that once you've set up an initial one. So we'll go back to our lead generators and we'll go and look for the one that we've just found. So you can see it's here on the top left-hand side. So let's go and refine this filter. So you see it's got 9 filters here. So if I click on that one, it brings up our little window. So here under price, let's go and maybe rein in that price. So we could put a maximum price in as well. We could also go and say that we want a maximum of 5 bedrooms, etc. So that's added a couple of additional parameters. And then let's get to advanced filters. Now there is loads and loads and loads of options in here. So keep it simple. Don't be too specific and keep going and improving it over time. So here we've got our motivated seller filters. So we may be able to go and add a couple of options in here. Something that does suggest motivation is multiple agents. So perhaps we could go and add that one in just as a little tweak. In terms of the property information, now if we want to convert this to an HMO, perhaps we want to have a minimum of 1 reception room so that we can convert that to a bedroom. You can also tweak things on the property type. So for example, let's say that we don't want to include detached houses. They may be a little bit too big. So we could take that out. We can refine the EPC. So if you're looking for things where there's an opportunity to go and add some value, maybe you want to look at properties that have got an unrentable EPC. So I could just go for FNG. We've also got contacts. So here, is it owned by a company or is it a lone person, a solo person? And then we've got other things as well, planning, amenity distances, maybe for being close to a hospital or a shop or transport. And then lastly, any further keywords. Now, again, don't overcomplicate this. Keep it relatively straightforward and see how you do. So we've made a couple of tweaks. So all I'm going to do now is go and click on save. And you remember that last time we had about 1900 properties that were for sale. Let's now have a look. Where's it gone? So let's go and have a look at our updated lead generator. So that's down here, and you can see that actually we've got 0. So that's too strict. So then we would go and adjust the filters. Maybe let's just go and change the price. We could take out the maximum price, etc., and go and save, confirm. You can now see that we've got 23 properties that are on market, and we've got 51 that are sold subject to contract. And if I go check leads, we can see how many we've got based on the motivated seller banner. So 5 that are back and reduced, 7 back, 11 reduced, etc. So that's nice and manageable and something that we can keep an eye on when processing our leads inbox. Finally, I've got a few tips about managing your lead generators. So you can see that we've got quite a few here listed. And each of these cards tells you a little bit about each lead generator itself. So for example, this one, we've got the maximum price, we've got the maximum number of bedrooms, the property types. We can see the map as well, which we can then go and hover over in terms of the postcodes. So you can see a few high level bits of information in these cards. Now we can sort these in lots of different ways, and the default is the maximum number of properties to check. So this HMO conversion, it's got over 300 that we need to check, and then all the way down to just 4 here for a different strategy. But you can sort these in different ways. So for example, we can sort them by name, and imagine that, for example, you wanted to go and sort them in a specific way. By going and using a prefix at the start of the name for each of them, you can get them in exactly the order that you want, and then just use name A to Z. The newest created, so your newer lead generators, the oldest, etc., etc. So you can go and sort them in different ways. We can also go and look at whether they're for sale only, rent only, or both. So we can go and look at those. Underneath, each of the cards also says whether it's a for sale lead generator or a to rent. So you can see we've got a rent down here. So there's a couple of different options just to make sure that this is as easy to follow as possible. Another quick tip is that if you've got a lead generator and you want to use it or do it in a different area, for example, or maybe have a different maximum and minimum price, you can actually just go and duplicate one of these. So if I just click onto the three dots for a specific lead generator, we've got duplicate. So just click on that one. You can give it a different name, tweak the criteria that you want, and you don't have to start from scratch if you want to use similar criteria in different areas, for example. So in the next video, we're going to look at your leads inbox. So we can look at all of the amazing properties that your lead generators bring to you. But in the meantime, go and have a go at setting up a lead generator. Remember, keep it simple, set your areas, look at the properties that it throws up, and then go and tweak and refine if you need to using some of the other settings. But other than that, good luck. If you need any more help, there are plenty more videos in the success base, and you can also get tailored one-to-one support with a property filter accredited coach. But otherwise, happy property hunting, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya.